guys to part 2 of your number series for cognitive abilities test, or COGAT, meant for grade 5. But I'm sure anyone who is preparing for COGAT or even SATs should be able to enjoy these series. I have made them in that context. So don't forget to share, subscribe and like the video so that whenever I'm uploading anything new, you will get it. And if you have already done that, thank you. Thanks a lot. So we'll jump into the first problem. What we have here is a series of numbers in front of you, and we have to find the next one most logical answer to these series of numbers. You already know that, but in case you haven't looked at these type of problems in the past, what we have to do is to see how these numbers are interconnected and just see that that pattern holds going all the way till the end. And if I start with that, what I have here is I am adding number 2, or rather plus 2 to this number, then hence I get the second number and so on and so forth. So plus 2 here too. But when I come to the third number, what I see is I'm actually subtracting 1. So the pattern that I have established so far is plus 2, and minus 1. Let's see if that continues. So here also I have plus 2, minus 1. Same goes on, plus 2. So logically I should have plus 2, and minus 1. So 40 minus 1 should be, yes, of course, it's 39. So again, remember that you have to establish a pattern, and the pattern has to fit through the number series for you to arrive at your correct answer. In the same regards, let's pick up the next problem. What we have here is number 4, 8, 16, then it again goes down and then increases again, then goes down and increases again. So let's see what kind of pattern we establish. So from 4 to 8, I am doubling it. From 8 to 16, again I am doubling it. But when it goes from 16 to 8, I am halving it, or dividing by 2. So the pattern for now I have is double, half. Okay, so here also 8, 16 is double, 16, 32 is double, and then I have to half. So that's the pattern. I have to halve, rather, pardon. So if I continue with that pattern, double, of course, works for me. Double again works for me. So ideally, if you're on the right path, then I should be halving 64. So 64 by 2 gives me my right answer. That's 32. Hope that's straightforward for you. Let's see. Yeah, and pause for a moment whenever you like and see whether you can solve it for yourself. So how I would take this is, what I see is it's increasing, then drops a little bit, then increases, drops a little bit. All right, so what do I have here? So clearly 3 2s are 6, or 3 multiplied by 2 is 6, 6 multiplied by 2 is 12, but then I am subtracting only 1 from this. So the pattern that I have now is multiply by 2, minus 1. Let's see if that works. Multiply by 2, minus 1. It works. So if I have to repeat that pattern, I should be doing multiply by 2 here. 43 multiplied by 2 is 86, and that's my answer. For you, a little change of scenery, so let me use a different color pen. And here are decimals in front of you. Don't get bogged down whether it's a decimal or a fraction or any combination of these. You just have to see what brings the first number to the second and second number to the third, and you are halfway through the problem, right? So what I see here is 0.06 and then 0.11. Logically, what I'm doing really here is 0.66 plus 0.05. That should give me my number here. And from 0.11 or 0.11 to 0.9, I am subtracting 0.2, or rather 0.02. So the pattern I have for now is 0.05 needs to be added, and right after you have to subtract 0.02. That works here. Clearly, I'm adding 0.05 and I'm subtracting 0.02. Same here, add 0.05 and subtract 0.02. So the next number ideally would be an addition of 0.05. That should give you 0.20 or just 0.2, right? So what gives me is answer D as the right answer in this case. Next one, I see some small numbers at front, and then they typically are increasing through the series. So let's see what we have here. If I add 1, if I add 2, and then 3, and then 3, and then 4, then 5, then 5, and then 6. So it seems to me that the odd numbers are added twice, barring maybe 1 here, and then here too I'm adding odd number twice, but the even number I'm adding only once, as in this case. So if I continue with that pattern, next one is +7, not +6, because I'll be adding 6 plus 6 only once. Remember, I'll repeat for you. I'm adding odd numbers only twice, or rather odd number twice, and even number only once. And I'm continuing to increase that number as I go forward. So 31 plus 7 would be the right choice in this case, which brings me to my answer of 38. If it's not difficult, then we will go faster. Pause it, find your answer. But if it's difficult, like the last problem was a little different, you try to look at my solution more than once. That should be able to help you. Here again, I see interesting pattern. Numbers are decreasing and then a sudden jump, decreasing, then a sudden jump. So ideally, I should see a decreasing pattern, but let's establish the pattern first. So what I see here is I'm halving 20 and halving 10. So divide by 2 brings me here. But then this jump is significant, so I am multiplying by 8. What kind of relation is this? Divide by 2, and multiply by 8. That's interesting. So let's see if that continues into the next set. 43 divide by 2 is 20. Repeat, divide by 2. And the next, can you imagine what is? You're right, it's multiply by 8, and it's working. So this pattern that I established from the first set works for me. Let's use that pattern. Divide by 2. Any guesses what it would be here? Absolutely, divide by 2. So what it gives me? 40 divided by 2 is 20. Correct? So that's your answer. Pretty similar looking numbers in this case, but I see increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. That's a little different pattern, and I don't see how I can make a proper justice if I look at this pattern, because here I am dropping, I'm rather increasing by 7, and then I am dropping by -9, then +3, and then +7. So this looks like a little different pattern than we are accustomed to understand, right? So in this case, we have to think a little out of the box. What does it mean? It means we have to see whether we are seeing any jump into the numbers, and then the pattern can be established. So what catches my eye is really this. If I skip 2 numbers and just try to establish a relationship between 24 and 26, so I'm skipping the 2 numbers in between, what I see the pattern is +2, right? Again, if I pick 31 and skip 2 numbers, I reach 33. The pattern +2 remains. I pick 23, skip 2 numbers, I go to 25, the pattern 25 remains. 26 plus 2, skip 2 numbers, 28. 23, skip 2 numbers and then add 2, 35. So this pattern is working fine for me. 25 gives me 27. So if I start with 28, skip 2 numbers and then arrive at this number, I should be adding 2 to my number 28. So 28 plus 2 is 30. So you have to be a little vigilant whether there is a number pattern in a skip fashion, as in I'm skipping some numbers, but the pattern can be established in that manner. In this case, we are skipping 2 numbers and trying to establish a pattern here. Let's try to do 2 more, and that should do the session for us today. What I have in the next problem is I have a drop and a rise, a drop and a rise. So what kind of drop and rise I'm seeing here? So I am deducting 10, subtracting 10, and then adding 9. Subtract 10, add 9. That pattern works. Subtract 10, add 9. Right? So the pattern for you is subtract 10, add 9. Right? So I go with that pattern, plus we just added 9. So next pattern should be, yes, subtract 10, which gives me my answer here. In this pattern, what I see again is going down, going up, going up, going up, and going up. But what kind of pattern I can think of? What I have here is I add 3 here, I had 6 here, then I add 7 here, then I add 4 here, I add 6 here, I add 7 here, I add 3 here, I add 6 here, and then ideally I should be adding 7, right? Because our pattern is 3, 6, 7, 4, 6, 7. Then in that regard, I should have 3, 6, 7 as the numbers added to the subsequent numbers. So 53 plus 7 brings me to a new, to your solution rather, of 60. So see what kind of patterns you really can establish when it comes to it, and see whether that pattern repeats. The last one for you really, again, as I mentioned, do not get bogged down whether it's a fraction or a decimal or any other format. In this case, clearly what I'm doing is from 70.01 and 70.10. So I'm adding 0.09 to arrive at this number. Similarly, I'm adding 0.09 to arrive at this number. Same goes with this, same goes with this. Test for yourself. Same goes with this. So if I add 0.09 here, I should have 70.55, and that comes out to be my right answer. So that's all for you. Please remember to look at the problems which you have not understood again. Please comment if you have a better way to solve these problems in the comment section. If you have similar problems that I can help you with, always welcome to see any changes, any comments, any difficult problems that I can take up in my next session. So please share, subscribe, and like if you found this video helpful, and please wait and look out for my next video on number series. That will be part 3 for you. Thanks again. See you soon. Bye-bye.